Hey everybody, welcome back here to a video. So the video footage you're seeing is Transformers Fall of Cybertron on PC. The laptop I have is not a gaming laptop or anything like that, so if the textures do look, like ass, yeah. And also, the game shockingly runs mostly at 60, with some frame drops here and there. And like it's pretty jarring once the frame drops happen, but after like a minute or two, it goes right back up to 60. So I kind of tolerate it. I mean, I kind of have to until I get a proper, gaming PC or whatever. Maybe I'll do a walkthrough of Fall of Cybertron when that happens, maybe. Because I've tried recording gameplay footage and the audio is, yeah, it's not good. Like, it crackles a lot, so no. So nah. I'll have to hold that plan for the future, obviously. So, but anyway, let's get to the main topic of the video. We are going to be talking about Transformers Reactivate because turns out there's actually a lot of information out there about the game when there's through leaks or official story description and whatnot. And there's actually screenshots of the game out there, as we'll go over in a little bit. There's actually 2 leaked cutscenes we're going to go over at the end too. So you might sit back, relax, and let's get to it. So first off, I want to give a shout out to @PlayTFR on Twitter. They are a fan account who posts any new information about Transformers Reactivate. So if you want to find out any new information about the game, I would recommend following them on Twitter. I've actually used an account like that for when Sonic Frontiers was coming out, so I got useful information from there, as I will be for Transformers Reactivate. Once we get new information about that, obviously, especially whenever we see official gameplay for the game, whenever that is. Supposedly there's a beta this year. When though? Who really knows that, but I guess time will tell with that. But anyway, let's get to it. So, the game has Warframe and Destiny elements. Transformers Reactivate is a game just like Warframe and Destiny, with collecting and making Transformers with loot, shared spaces, and much more. Here's a better look at the image. As you can see here, world and fiction, transformations, factions, classic evolved art. Ooh, nice. Cooperative PvE. Here's where the Warframe part. Cooperative PvE, frenetic combat, quote-unquote frames and weapons. Free-to-play live service. As for the Destiny aspects, shared hub, shared combat spaces. So, like these shared open worlds that Destiny has. Interesting, to say the least. Maybe you could free roll, maybe, like the cities of New York and whatever other locations we'll be seeing in the game, maybe. Kind of like how Destiny has with the planets and all that, but I guess time will tell with that one. But I guess nothing really to go on from there. I'm not really a big fan of looter shooters nowadays, to be honest, though. But I'll still check this game out just out of curiosity, because I like Transformers. I like the movies. I really love the Cybertron games. So I'll still be checking this out. I'm still excited by it. Don't get me wrong. But anyway, continuing. Customization. Yes, there is customization in TFR. We don't know to what extent. There is customization though. As you can see here, in the image where customize is, grayed out, but you could tell, yeah, there's customization in the game. And if we take a look at this image, it seemed like, hot rods, so it seems you can update, customize your loadout, what abilities. Beast thing. That sounds like an ability. Your health, upgrade your health, probably. Your stats, whatnot. So yeah, there's some bit of customization though, as you'll find out later. There's even more customization, as we'll see in a bit. Anyway, next up the story. Many years in the future, the Age is a massive alien superweapon drifts into the Sol system. The Autobots and Decepticons wage a fierce battle for control of the derelict weapon. The battle ends in a massive explosion, decimating both Transformers forces and shattering the Age into massive shards. The shards rain down on Earth with devastating impact, instantly corrupting the land where they fall. Now with the combined fate of the Transformers and humanity threatened, the Autobots and Decepticons must band together and fight for survival against the corruption brought by the Shards of Ages. So maybe that's why the Legion came to Earth? Because maybe they created the Aegis, and since it's shattered, maybe they have to, they want to get the pieces back together so they can rebuild the weapon and use it for whatever the purpose of it was. And since it threatens both the Transformers races and humanity, they all have to work together to combat the Legion. I guess, enemy of my enemy is my friend, as they say. So maybe that's kind of like where the story starts out, and I guess we'll see. I guess time will tell what happens from there. But anyway, continuing. Fun TFR fact. Certain Affinity was the people who made New York. They also made half of Chicago before being set off the project for Splash Damage to take control of it. For those who obviously can tell, Certain Affinity was originally the developer of this game. Funny enough, because they're now working with 343 now, but whatever. That's a whole different topic. But anyway, yeah, they were the original developers, so they made the entire area of New York. So I assume, those Splash Damage will just keep the work that they did and kind of move on from there. But anyway, yeah. For those who also, Leo Technologies was originally the publisher of this game. And before we kind of get into that situation, let's take a look at the image that was actually shown. So this is kind of a little map where highlighted New York. So probably somewhere else, is going to be, obviously Chicago. So curiously, before Splash Damage took over, Certain Affinity did all of New York and about half of Chicago before they were essentially taken off of the project. And I kind of asked, why was Certain Affinity taken off of the project? Because they're a talented studio, so it didn't make sense why they would be taken off of the project unless something went wrong. Well, as you'll see why, it kind of makes sense why. Here we go. And I said, do we know why developers switched? And they responded, Certain Affinity was costing the publishers way too much money. They missed deadlines for the game's release multiple times, and kept asking for more money and kept missing more deadlines, so they handed off to Splash Damage. I wonder why Certain Affinity kept having problems with it. So curious. So it's very curious. Like, it's kind of a damn shame because Certain Affinity is a really talented studio. They've done some great work on like Halo, Call of Duty, among other things. They've even made the multiplayer for Doom 2016, for those who don't know. So that's a little, nugget for Doom fans. But yeah, so I mean, they are certainly a talented studio, so it's very curious. So it kind of makes sense because they kept missing deadlines and everything else. So it kind of makes sense why they were removed for the game, and the game was handed off to Splash Damage. Before we continue, the original name of Reactivate was actually Transformers Rise. That was when Certain Affinity was in charge of the project. So curiously, that once they were taken off, the project switched names. Very curious. But anyway, let's continue this conversation. I asked why was Leo removed as well? Because nope, not anymore. They got bought out by Tencent, a very greedy company, and Hasbro yoinked the game from them. And I responded with, good on Hasbro for doing that. And I also asked, I wonder who the new publisher is unless Splash Damage is self-publishing, which they responded again. Splash Damage is self-publishing, so any money that gets out into TFR via skins or anything like that, it will go right back into development for the game, making the right call. So obviously the confirmation of microtransactions, but I mean that's to be expected though. It's a free-to-play game, but if they follow the Warframe model, and I know I've quit Warframe a couple years ago, because I used to play Warframe a lot with friends, and the economy in Warframe is really good. Like, they're one of the more pro-consumer in terms of like monetization for free-to-play games. So I'd say if Splash Damage follows that model, I think we'll be in good hands. To be quite frank with you, but yeah, Splash Damage is self-publishing the game, and I believe they said they have like multiple original projects in development. So it kind of makes sense that they would be self-publishing this. So, okay, that's cool that actually any, microtransaction money they get from this game will go right back into development of the game since they're self-publishing it, because they're not going through an external publisher like, say, Activision, like the Cybertron games were, since, they publish those games, and that's kind of why the games don't exist anymore. But anyway, let's keep going. As you can see in this image, we actually have some of the confirmed playable characters in the game. So we have Starscream, Slipstream, Hot Rod. We saw an image of him earlier. Sunwave, Sunstreaker. I'm not sure if I've heard of them before. They sound familiar though. Anyway, Ironhide and Wingblade. Wingblade is one I'm not too familiar. I'm not familiar with this much either. So, if you actually kind of pay attention, they actually have specific roles each Transformer has, which is very interesting. So, Starscream will be on the offensive, Substream is defense, Hot Rod is defense, Sunwave is defense, Sunstreaker is offense, Ironhide is defense, and Wingblade is offensive. Isn't it? That's actually shocking, kind of surprising with Ironhide, because he's the weapon specialist for the Autobots as far as I can remember. So kind of very curious that he would be defense. But considering that he's the weapon specialist, I guess it kind of makes sense for him to be defensive, but very curious though. Very interesting choice. I guess we'll see how that plays out in the game, whenever the game comes out. Okay, now let's actually get into actual in-game screenshots. First off, I want to give a shout out to RoboGamer HD. They were the ones who leaked these images. There's also another YouTuber I'll kind of get into later, who also leaked some other ones. But yeah, so as you can see here, kind of seemingly just rolling out. So nothing really too much to see here. So kind of the lobby and whatnot, and it's seemingly confirming matchmaking. Okay, I would hope so, since it's a PvE cooperative shooter. So I would hope so. And by the way, it's third person. For those who are confused, because the announced trailer, yeah, it's third person, like the Cybertron games are. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but hey, I guess people needed confirmation. So there you go. Continuing. This looks more like concept art for the game, where it seems like it's kind of decimated city on Earth. Whatever location that is. I guess it could be New York, possibly. But just based by the buildings in the background, I am assuming it is, but you can't really be too sure. As for the Transform in the background, no idea. That could be, looks like an Autobot, if I were to guess. But anyway, continuing, we have another one of where you actually see some of the support for Ratchet, some of these stats he could have, where obviously they're mostly disabled because it's internal build, and obviously debug, because again, this game is still in development. And for the record, these images are about a couple years old, about 2018. So I think that was still when Stern Affinity wasn't involved in the project. So keep that in mind. If these images kind of doesn't look that great, it's kind of why, because it was early in development. And apparently, Splash Damage gave the YouTubers permission to release the images. So they're aware. They're fully aware of the images out there. So anyway, continuing, we have seemingly a mission select menu where it's called Entering the Hive, where some character named Allison has spotted an outbreak near Old Midtown Manhattan. Find the source, take it out. So this is still in New York, because Manhattan, obviously matchmaking. So there you go. Weekly. Ooh, maybe special weekly missions, kind of like Destiny does. Because for those who play Destiny, the strikes. Again, I've played Destiny as well, but I kind of lost interest in it around 2019-ish. I haven't played Destiny 2 since, what was it, Shadowkeep? I just kind of lost interest in it. Really. Because after playing Destiny for like 5 years, I just kind of lost interest in it. It just didn't really gel with me anymore. For some reason, I just fell out of it. But yeah, I was just getting fatigued by it pretty much. But yeah, that's kind of all I have to really say about that. But anyway, continuing, I would give a shout out to this YouTuber before we go over the final 3 images. They personally released these actual 3 non-blurry in-game screenshots. Again, these are from 2018, so keep that in mind. So, if you want to, if you're a Transformer fan, I kind of recommend, checking out TPZ Luna, as I already subbed to him, by the way. But anyway, let's get to the actual in-game screenshots. We got this first one. So, it's seemingly, actually in-game. Obviously, this is from, again, 2018, where a resistance fighter, talked on the radio. Then on the upper left, we have squad members with health and level. Then we have a waypoint right there, POI, enemy health bar. What does it say? Does it say like Sentinel? Reticule, overheat bar. I guess that kind of makes sense for like energy-based weapons. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Twisted Enforcers. As you can see by the text right there. Very curious. Player shield, so yes, you can upgrade your shields and health. I kind of suspected that. Makes sense. Let's see. There's your abilities, right by the text. Then there's a cooldown. Yeah, to use your abilities, that makes sense. Challenges and rewards, yep, so there's a challenge system in the game. Incoming counts for a high value target. So it sounds like some special enemy you gotta take out. Maybe you'll get bonus XP or rewards. There's a roll weapon, ranged weapon and ammo counter right there on the bottom right. So there you go. As for the area, it looks like some kind of forest area in probably New York again. Could be Chicago though. Not too sure on that one. Anyway, continuing. Now we got another one set in a different area, where again there's another Sentinel enemy. So seemingly, looks like the UI. You know, it'd be kind of neat if you could actually change the UI, or the UI changes depending on which Transformer you're playing as. That'd be kind of cool. Again, squad members with health and level. Oh, ranged weapon. Let's see, it's on the bottom left instead of the previous image where it's on the bottom right. You actually notice. Playing Transformer. You actually roll weapon. Obviously, they're playing as, I believe, Bumblebee. I think. Current health is total health on the the middle of the bottom. You got your health bar, overheal. Wonder what that means. Overheat bar. Yep. Reticule. You kind of get the idea. Abilities. Down the bottom right. Cooldown. Waypoint way over there. Mission talent and objectives. Get to the gate. Collect 4 out of 4 security. It's for harvesting energon. Okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. So, because that's Transformers. Their main, essentially their blood, pretty much. If that kind of makes sense. But anyway, we got one final image to go over. Now we got. Looks like we have a look at the traversal. This is obviously very early. Like very early, because this is just a testing area to test out the vehicular combat of the game. So I wonder what those logos mean. Looks like maybe I'm gonna assume like boost and weapons, as you can tell by the missiles on the far right. Okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. So nothing really too sure to move on. Really, again, defeat 10 twist enemies. So very curious. So, but yeah. But now before we kind of end this video, because believe me, there was a lot of information here. Let's actually take a look at these 2 leaked cutscenes. These have been around for a while. Fun fact, these are actually what actually triggered the rumors about a new Transformers game being announced soon, which it obviously was. So let's take a look at the first one, shall we?
I risk my life to keep this little operation going, and my reward is some old message from him? This better be good.
To all Transformers and any allies who may yet stand with you, we find ourselves in a desperate battle, but we are not helpless or alone. This enemy is not unstoppable.
I thought maybe these humans found Optimus as insufferable as I did, but it appears they simply couldn't find him.
This may be an ancient and deadly foe. If the legends are indeed true, our kind have heard them before. We believe we may have found a weakness we can exploit to strike back. I'm transmitting our last coordinates. We must succeed, no matter the cost.
Optimus might have known something we could use, if only it had been a complete recording. This mudball planet is swarming with these monsters. Still, if everyone is focused on finding Optimus, that means no one is focused on me. These are troubling times indeed. There is also the matter of Shockwave. This little group has no idea what he's capable of. I'm sure he has a very different motivation to learn more about this enemy. He likely admires what those things outside have accomplished. I'll have to keep an eye on him.
So based on that cutscene, so it kind of looks like Optimus is gone dark or is missing or somewhat, or people don't know what happened to him. So obviously it shows that the Autobots and the Decepticons are indeed working together with the humans, as the story description we went over earlier indicated. Very curious. It wasn't me. I think Starscream was being played by Steve Blum, who obviously does Wolverine, obviously. For fun fact, he also voiced Venom in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, so Steve Blum is clearly very talented, as he can do, various characters throughout gaming media, so pretty cool to see him here. I wonder what Shockwave was, kind of looking at. Like, what was he thinking about this whole thing? Because he's I guess he's considered, another scientist, much like Soundwave is, for the Decepticons. So I kind of wonder what he was thinking about all this. Kind of very curious about where everything is, Very curious. But anyway, we got one more cutscene to go over before we wrap this video up. Let's go.
Yeah, I've seen some strange things in my times, but nothing like this. It appears the nanomachines that make up these monsters can also be used to infect other technology as well. This stuff isn't easy to get rid of either. We're dealing with an intelligent virus here. The implications of what this thing could do are terrifying. I don't know which disturbs me more. What's out there, what the Decepticons could do to us in here. Well, at least some things never change. There will never be a shortage of repairs to be made, or lives to be saved. But now we have Delvin and his team to help. He loves to repair things and make a difference. Just like a younger version of myself. Together, we may just have a shot at getting this planet back. If we can stay online this time. Keeping the damn lights on would be a great start.
So very clearly, so I wonder what that was about. Like, with seemingly the Legion are also toxic to Transformers as a whole. Interesting. Things have just gotten certainly very interesting now. Very curious to see where that pans out. Obviously, the humans even help kind of repair Transformers when they're heavily damaged or are almost near death. So obviously, I'm sure it seems like Ratchet is grateful for the help, because after all, they're working together, obviously. And seemingly, it looks like they're very limited on resources too, which kind of makes sense because they're in the middle of a war with an alien race that is hellbent on their destruction. But yeah, very interesting to see where this goes. Very curious, and obviously, I wonder who the Decepticon was that was with Ratchet. I wonder. Probably Soundwave or Shockwave, one of the two, since those are the two scientists, like I mentioned before. But yeah, TLDR, there's a lot of information. Turns out a lot of more information out there. Hopefully, we kind of get some information officially soon on when this beta is. Because I'm curious to see how this game plays and all that. So if I get in, oh yeah, I'm going to be playing the crap out of it. Because, man, I'm itching for a new Transformers game. It's been so long since a brand new AAA Transformers game on the level of the Cybertron series. I know there was what was it? Dark Spark, I think. I heard that game wasn't very good. I didn't play that. I also didn't play Devastation, but I heard that game was actually pretty decent though. So maybe someday I'll check that game out, I suppose. But anyway, that's kind of it with all this information about Reactivate. How excited are you for Transformers Reactivate? If you're excited at all, let me know down in the comment section below. If you like this video, hit the like button and consider hitting that sub button so you don't miss out on any more videos. I'll certainly be covering more Transformers Reactivate once I find out more about it. I'll let you guys know how that goes. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, have a good one.